how to do something, how to fix something, or how something works. What do? Ask a teacher? Ask your parents? Ask your friends? Ask someone you really know and trust? No! You go to the internet and ask some randos. But I'm not talking about creeps here, I hope. No, I mean the people of the internet! You know, those people who make how-to videos. Because chances are, if you're trying to figure out something, someone on the internet has already figured it out for you. Things like, how do I unsend a text? No. How do I do a winged eyeliner? How do I get rid of the zit by Friday night? How do I get out of gym class? How do I screen cap Snapchat without getting caught? They'll never know. But then there are things in life that don't have an easy fix, that don't have a simple solution, that don't have a how-to video. Things like what to do when you have problems with family, or when it seems like you have no control in your life, or what to do when someone has done something to you. I mean, clearly, they gotta go. The truth is, there's a lot of life that doesn't have a solution you can just find online. So how do you know what to do when you don't know what to do?
What's up, guys? I hope you're having a great week. I miss you. I am so confident that literally I'm gonna see you so soon. So I cannot wait. I hope you're having a great start to the beginning of your summer, and I hope that this is the best summer yet, because I know this year has started off a little rocky. So I hope that you guys have some fun summer plans. If you want to Instagram us and just let us know what your summer plans are, we would love to know, because we just want to know what you guys are up to. We miss you a lot. But last week, we talked about how problems can position you for a purpose. We talked about how the pain and the difficulties and the struggles in your life can actually set you up for something greater in your life. That doesn't mean that those problems are good. It doesn't take away how painful they are. But if we can keep our focus on the fact that our character is always growing and we're always growing as people, then we can get through problems a lot easier. And this week, I want to talk about when you don't know what to do to pursue peace instead of payback. Have you guys ever had that moment where maybe you went out to eat with a friend and they bought you food and said, hey, don't worry about paying me back? Or maybe you've been on a family trip with someone else's family and they said, we'll pay the way for you. We just want you to come. I don't know if you guys have ever had one of those experiences. I remember back in high school, I was always the younger one on my team, and so I couldn't drive yet while all the rest of my teammates could drive. So I always had teammates driving me home, and I had two of my best friends who lived just a few blocks down the street. And so one of them, she would always drive me home after practice. Usually the three of us would just ride together everywhere we went. And after we just got done running a ton, we always wanted like a vanilla cone from McDonald's, you know, those like 70-cent cones that are super good. So we would always go through McDonald's and buy one. And there were so many times that, I didn't really have a debit card, I didn't have a credit card. So unless I had cash on me, I usually didn't have money to buy things. I was pretty young, and they would just always tell me, hey, we got it, don't worry, get whatever you want. You can have nuggets, you can have a fry. And I remember now looking back at that, as small as that may seem, it was always like so nice of them that they never made me pay them back. And I know that's such a silly example, but there's so many things in life where we have people do those things for us, and it's awesome, right? It's such a great feeling, like, wow, that's awesome that someone would do something for me and they want nothing in return. But I think there's also those moments in life where sometimes payback comes up when we want someone to hurt just as bad as they hurt us, right? Have you ever had that moment where someone hurts you and you want them to feel your pain? If I'm being completely honest, guys, I just had a person not long ago send me some really harsh texts. A person I haven't talked to in a long time, and I don't know, they wanted to argue me on this virus and on this subject, and they wanted to see my side of things. And honestly, I didn't even get into the argument with them because I didn't feel it was appropriate, but they wanted to just keep attacking me with their words, and they attacked my character. And I remember one night I sat down and I was like, oh, I'm going to tell them what. I'm going to make sure I get back at them and I show them why I believe what I believe, and I silence them, right? I had this motive that I want to make them pay the price for just putting down my character. And I remember I had a few people in my life, including McKenna, who said, hey, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't even entertain it. It's not worth entertaining. Just pursue peace instead of payback. And I want to talk about that tonight in our lesson, because we've been talking about the story of Joseph. And Joseph's story starts out, as we've talked about several times, with his brothers. They're mad at him because he's gloating about this dream that he's going to rule over them, which we see from last week. He really actually does eventually rule over them. So his dream was accurate. But they get mad at him and they tell their dad, Joseph died, he got attacked by a wild animal, but in reality, they sold him into slavery, right? So if you're Joseph in that moment, think about your siblings. If they did something like that to you, would you not want like the ultimate revenge? Honestly. And maybe you're sitting there going, no, like I think I really could pursue peace. I know for me, that would be really hard. Like, you guys just sold me into slavery and gave me a miserable couple of years, and now I want you to hurt. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but I want you guys, I want you to think about, don't you think that it's really easy that the closer we are to someone, the more we want payback for them, right? Like, if you have a stranger do something to you, you could kind of care less. It's like, okay, whatever, you don't know me. But the closer people are to you and they hurt you, it hurts just a little bit deeper. And I think that a lot of times it's about us. It's about me and how I feel and what they did to me. We don't always want payback for someone who maybe did something to someone else. It's always about us usually. It's really selfish. And there's a few different kinds of paybacks we usually want. We want like public payback, where we do something to them where they get embarrassed in front of other people, or we roast them in front of others and we say, just kidding. Or maybe we want some passive payback, right? Where we kind of make that underlying comment to get the point across, but we don't necessarily confront the issue. Or maybe we have this imaginary payback where we like, have you ever had that moment where maybe like you wake up in the morning, you're like, okay, today, this is the conversation I'm going to have with this person, and you like completely annihilate them in your head, and then you actually get to the moment and it never even happened, right? We've got these times where we've got public payback, passive payback, or imaginary payback. But either way, we're pursuing payback. And that's not the thing that's honoring to God. Enjoying watching people fail is not okay, guys. No matter how justified we might feel in the moment, if you're feeling that way with someone in your life right now, or a situation in your life, I want you to really think about, is this honoring to God? Because I promise you, if you go the other way, because it's easier to give someone payback, right? It's easy to just throw it back in their face or roast them in the moment. But if you do that, is it really benefiting you in the end? No. It's just like we talked about a few weeks ago with forgiveness, right? When you don't forgive someone, you hold yourself in a prison. And so I want to talk about Joseph. He gets to this point in the story. I told you guys, he goes into slavery, goes to Potiphar, gets wrongly accused, goes to prison, helps these guys with their dreams, as we learned about last week. And then the guy gets out of prison, doesn't even mention Joseph's name. And for 2 years, Joseph is still in prison for nothing he did wrong. And then finally, Pharaoh has this dream, asks Joseph to interpret it. Joseph interprets it. It's like with 100% accuracy. So Pharaoh's like, okay, you're the man. You're going to come work for me, and you're going to be second in command of all of Egypt. So we get to this point in the story, and I want to pick up in Genesis 45. So look on the screen right here. It says, then Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants, and he cried out, have everyone leave my presence. So there was no one with Joseph. So you guys are wondering what just happened. Well, here's the thing. There's a big famine that just happened in all of Egypt. And Joseph's family is struggling from the famine. So they show up to where Joseph's working because they need food. Like, they're desperate for food. They're starving. And Joseph sees his brothers from afar and his heart sinks, right? This is the first time he's seen his brothers in years after they've sold him into slavery. And it says, so there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him, and Pharaoh's household heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still living? But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified at his presence, right? The brothers are like, whoa, we just sold you into slavery a couple years ago. We just showed up here during a famine and you're second in command of all of Egypt. Like, they know now Joseph could have his ultimate payback and revenge if he wanted to, right? Like, he could come at them in the worst way possible, but instead, Joseph doesn't. He drops the payback. I want you to ask yourself, what would you do in that moment? What would I do in that moment? I honestly don't know if I could answer that I would do what Joseph did, but I want to be the kind of person that Joseph was in this story. And it says in Genesis 45, 4b through 7, it says, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now, there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years, there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve you, for you, a remnant on earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. Like, wow, that's incredible, right? Joseph, instead of getting back at them, he doesn't even say anything bad to them. He doesn't say, how dare you sell me into slavery, and this is what you guys get, and look at me now, right? He doesn't say any of that. He goes, hey, don't worry about it. God had a purpose in all this, right? Just like we learned about last week. God has a purpose for the pain we go through. And Joseph recognized that in the moment. He said, God sent me here so I could impact lives and so I could save my family's life. Guys, he was acknowledging their wrong and his hurt without creating more hurt. He acknowledged it, but he didn't allow to create more hurt. That's incredible. And only a healed person can do this, right? Only a person who has truly forgiven others. I bet you, if anything, I know it doesn't say this clearly in the Bible, but I bet you when Joseph was sitting in prison for those couple of years, that's when he went, you know what? Why hold on to this any longer? I need to forgive them and I need to move on. And just in that instant is when God came down and said, there you go, Joseph. You get the point of this story. Now guess what? You're going to be second in command of all of Egypt. Joseph chose forgiveness over payback. And somewhere being between sold into slavery and being reunited with his brothers, Joseph did the hard work of giving his hurt to God and allowing God to be central in his healing. Guys, he freed himself from his own pain too. He not only freed his brothers from their pain, because I'm sure over the years they've found that regret. That, wow, what did we just do to our brother? We sold him into slavery. And he freed them from their pain and his own pain. And in Genesis 45:15, it says, and he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterwards, his brothers talked with him. Guys, the only thing that is better than payback is reconciliation. It's those moments in our lives where we come to this point where we can go, you know what? I know you hurt me, but I want to reconcile this with you. I want to have resolution. So the bottom line this week is when you don't know what to do, pursue peace instead of payback. When you pursue peace, you fight for the relationship, guys. That's the first point. When you pursue peace, you fight for the relationship. You don't give up. You're going to learn as you get further ahead in life, relationships, no matter what kind of relationship it is, they are not easy and they're not perfect. And every single person is going to disappoint you at some point in your life. Because why? We're all imperfect humans. The only person that will never disappoint you is God. So in order to have a healthy relationship with anyone, whether it's a friendship, a family member, a dating relationship, your marriage one day, you gotta fight for the relationship and you gotta fight for that peace. And two, when you pursue peace, you lay down your right to get payback. You stop justifying your actions of, well, I came back at them because this is how they treated me. Because that's not what a godly person does, right? And it's hard. Trust me, I have to struggle with it every day just like you do. But I promise that the reward in the end when you pursue peace is so much greater. And it's so much more enjoyable. It makes life actually fun. Because you stop dwelling on the negative and you dwell on the positive. And guys, this is also why we have small groups. So our small group leaders, our small group students can keep us accountable. They can help us go, you know what, I know that person really hurt you. Let's all come together. We can pray about it. We can talk about it. You have a safe place here to vent. But when you walk out of these doors, let's pursue peace. So make sure you join your small group tonight after this lesson, whether it's on FaceTime, Zoom. I don't know what you guys have been doing for small group, but if your small group leader texts you, text them back because they're trying to get a hold of you. They want to connect with you. They miss you so much too. And I'm sure you miss them as well. And guys, last but not least, God, he pursued peace instead of payback, right? He put Adam and Eve in a garden, and he had the most perfect plan set out. He created this perfect world for them. They had literally a perfect life. And God said, all you have to do is don't eat fruit from that one tree. You have every other tree in the entire world. But instead, Adam and Eve hurt God by going and eating that fruit. And instead of God pursuing payback on the rest of mankind, when sin fell on all of mankind at that moment, God said, you know what? I still want to be with you guys. I want to love you, and I want to be with you for eternity. So he sent his son to come down, die on the cross. He lived a perfect life before then. He died on a cross, just like Joseph went to prison illegally. Jesus went to that cross illegally. He had no reason to be put on that cross, but he did it for us. He did it to forgive us of our sins, and he rose again 3 days later, and he said, all you have to do is believe in me. Believe that I did that for you, and you are saved. Guys, he loves us that much. And if you've never made that decision, I want you to make that decision right now, because it's the most important and best decision you'll ever make in your life. Because no matter what you do tomorrow, today, 50 years down the road, if you believe Jesus died for you, you're saved. And when you die one day, you get to go to heaven for eternity, the best place we could ever imagine. And I want that for you more than anything. And if you did make that decision, you can text the word trust to 797979. We would love to hear from you. We'll even send you a gift, and hopefully in a week or two, we'll get to meet you in person or see you guys in person. So we cannot wait. Please go have fun at this silly game that we're playing next, and then head off into small groups, and we can't wait to see you guys. Have a great week. Bye. What's up, guys? This is our last week of our 5-week series, and instead of playing a minute to win it game, we're gonna play a game that's been kind of going viral on the internet, so I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. We're gonna call it Wiffle Crusher, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how you say that word. So anyway, the point of the game is you're gonna have 3-4 people, however many people you want to join in, more than 2 preferably. You're gonna have them get in a circle. You're gonna put a bottle in the middle, and you're gonna spin the bottle. Whoever the bottle's cap points towards, they have to run, grab a racket, a bat, whatever it is, and like a tennis ball, a wiffle ball, something soft. You don't want to like completely annihilate someone, or you can. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. And they're going to pick up the ball and the racket while the other people start running away, and they're going to try and hit someone in the leg or wherever. If you get hit, it's your life, so you lose a life. You've got 2 lives. If you get hit twice, you're out. So we're gonna show you guys a little bit, but you guys can join in. You can either watch us or you can play while we play. We're gonna have a ton of fun. Ow!
I'll just spin. Who's spinning?
All right, go ahead, McKenna.
All right, Brooke. Hard. Oh. Dang it. So close. Here. Hope you guys are having fun. That sucked. We need a real bat here. Yes, play with the plastic bat so you don't. Oh!
Let's go, baby. Oh, I missed the ball. Oh!
Why? I throw it too high every time.
Gosh! Gosh! Yes!
All right, guys, that was the game for the week, and we cannot wait. We hope we get to see you in person super soon. So keep up to date on our Instagram. Have your parents check their emails, because we're gonna let you guys know when we get to all come back together really soon, and we're gonna have a big party. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you later.